What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel in another video. This week we did something super exciting. We have upgraded our wheels to beadlocks. So I got a crazy good deal on 5 used ATX slab beadlocks. So if you didn't know, ATX slabs are some of the strongest beadlocks you can buy. They come with an extra thick ring, and they're just a great wheel. Now they are, I believe, discontinued, but some places do still have them. I know Northridge still has some, and I believe Discount Tire maybe had a few left. So these tires are still available. They're just kind of hard to get unless you go through like 1 or 2 different people. But super excited. I got these installed this weekend, so let's take a look. All right, guys, so here they are, ATX slab beadlocks. They are used, so of course there is some rock rash on the ring here, which I don't care about because I'm gonna tear these things up anyway. And as you can see, these are very thick rings. So the wheel itself looks really good. The ring, very happy with, and something I found out that's also pretty cool is you can upgrade these rings with spider lock rings. So they're the same wheel, just different rings for the spider lock and the ATX. So that's super cool. Also, I believe the bolts and the inserts for the bolts are interchangeable. So that's something definitely keep in mind if you have ATX slabs or spider lock and you'd like to switch out your rings. And I got all 5 of these installed. Now, mind you, I've never installed beadlocks before. Got all 5 of these installed this weekend in under 5 hours. So if you're afraid to do beadlocks, it's really not a hard job at all, especially with used tires, as I just transferred these over from my old wheels. These were pretty flexed out already. They've already been pretty well used off-roads. They've had some flex on the sidewall, so they were not hard to install at all. In fact, they really gave me no trouble. So I was very happy with that. Of course, I did clean up the bolts and everything before I installed this and cleaned up the wheels, so that was probably the most time out of the whole process. So it wasn't too bad of a job. It is a little tedious. What I did is I set everything up in front of the TV, and I actually installed them right in front of the TV. So it actually worked out pretty well and kept me entertained while I was doing this. And another crazy fact, a lot of people told me I would not need to balance them. They said that most beadlocks and a good brand of wheel will not need balancing. I drove these, got it up to 65, and absolutely perfect. So I did not put any balancing in here, no beads. I've heard bad things about the beads. So I did not balance these at all, and I am extremely happy with the ride. I am running these at 25 PSI. I did read that with beadlocks, 25 PSI is kind of the max you want to run. So I just didn't mess with it. I kept it at 25. It rides amazing. And I do have a really good contact patch here, so I'm not worried about that either. Everything is still wearing very smoothly after 100 miles, so I am very happy. With these ATX slabs, I did torque all the bolts to 23. I think they say anything between 20 to 25 foot-pounds of torque. So did torque all of those. It did take a while, probably about 5 or 6 different go-rounds after I got them all cinched down, which kind of sucked. But again, I was in front of the TV, so it really wasn't too bad of a job. All right, now the question I did want to address is why would you upgrade to beadlocks? So, or when is a good point to upgrade to beadlocks? So for me, I wish I would have done it in the beginning because I was getting into wheeling and off-roading, and it is important to have a beadlock when you start doing rock crawling. Now, with mud and sand, it's not as bad because you're not messing with that sidewall a whole lot. It's not getting a ton of flex. You're just kind of going through puddles and that type of stuff. So honestly, if you're just doing that, I don't see the need to upgrade to beadlocks. But if you are rock crawling, it is super important because those rocks are gonna grab that tire, flex it out, move it around, squish it between different rocks. So you're really pushing the limits of that bead. And of course, with rock crawling, you wanna go down to as low PSI as possible. So I was going down to about 14. It was a little risky, and it always had me worried when I was off-roading that I was gonna break a bead, which is not something I wanna mess with. So this was just the smart, logical decision for me, getting more into wheeling and more into off-roading. I've been going multiple times a month, so it's just important for me to have that peace of mind, and they just look awesome as well, and they can take a beating. So those Moto Metal wheels I only had 2 trips on. They already had scratches all around the ring, which I don't really care about a whole lot, but I did pay good money for those. So, and they also are not made for that kind of abuse. These ATX slabs are made for that abuse. So they're made to take a beating. They're made to work off-road. So if you're looking into being in an off-road rig and you want to go a couple times a month, I would highly recommend making the investment into beadlocks, whether they be used or new. They're not a terrible price point. They are more expensive than regular wheels, but I do think it is very much worth the upgrade and the peace of mind. Another thing I was really happy about with these wheels is the offset. So these wheels have a -38, I believe it's -38 offset. So I was able to remove the spacers that I had installed. Now they were Spider Track spacers, so they held up extremely well. That none of them ever came loose or anything like that, and none of the lugs were messed up when I sold them. But it's always that fact that you have spacers on there. It's just something that could break, that something could go wrong. So I was glad I was able to take those off. I still have basically the same width that I had with the spacers and the -24 offset. So it sits about the same as it did without that extra component that can break. So very happy I was able to remove those as well. I'm glad that these beadlocks come in a nice offset. And just some tips from a guy who just installed beadlocks for the first time, and it went extremely smooth. What I would have before I installed these, definitely some anti-seize. You want to anti-seize the bolts. You do not want to put any thread locker on the bolts themselves, only in the threaded inserts, which they should already have come with that on there. So you definitely want to have some anti-seize, just because there's gonna be a lot of water and dirt that get on those bolts. You don't want them to seize up in there. So definitely have some anti-seize. I anti-seized every single bolt. So that was something that I definitely did just for the future. Another thing you want to have is some, I almost said spoons. You could use tire spoons. I just use 2 flathead screwdrivers. I barely even had to use them, but just so you can kind of pry on the bead onto the wheel. If you watch any of the install videos on YouTube of beadlocks, you'll see them do that as well. And also some soapy water. So I sprayed soapy water on both of the beads and it just went on extremely smooth. So I'd highly recommend Dawn dish soap and just like a thing of water. I just sprayed it around the wheel and it went on super, super smooth. So those are mainly the things I would have, as well as an air compressor, because you're gonna have to seat that back bead with some air. So I would definitely have an air compressor. A lot of the tire shops will not touch beadlocks, and even if they do, they're gonna charge you a ton. So I'd recommend doing all this at home in the garage, or getting a buddy or someone from a local group that's done it before that can help you out. That's something I would also advise as well. All right, and again, guys, I am just so happy with the look. I think eventually I am going to take these rings off when I upgrade the tires next year. Probably powder coat this and clean it up a little bit. Maybe even go with the Spider Lock ring. I'm not really sure yet. But for now, I am so happy with the look of these wheels. ATX slabs have always been a wheel that I have wanted. They are just a great looking wheel and one of the strongest on the market. So I was so happy when I saw this pop up on Facebook Marketplace. It was like it was meant to be. So after selling my old Moto wheels, I actually came out really nice on this. So I am very, very happy with ATX slabs. And honestly, I probably would have bought them new anyway. So it just came at the right time. So again, you do not need beadlock wheels. However, it is something I would definitely invest in if you're doing a lot of off-roading. It's just great to have that peace of mind knowing that one of your beads is locked in. You're not gonna have to worry about it. And you don't have to rely on a tire shop anymore, so that's also really nice. It was not a hard job to do in the garage. It took me, again, about 4 to 5 hours. It is a lot of bolts, but do not be scared if you have a torque wrench. It is a super, super simple job, and there's lots of videos on it, so I didn't even do a video on the install, just because it's such a well laid out job that people have already done a lot of videos on. But again, guys, I thank you for watching. If you have any questions on beadlocks or anything like that, please drop them down below. I do have another video coming for you here within the next week. I am doing the PSC pump as well as the PSC cooler and reservoir. So I'll have all that being installed within the next week. So hopefully that'll get here this weekend and I can install it for you guys. I will be doing a video on it and I'm super excited for that to come in. So again, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Jeep and off-road content. I hope you have a great rest of your day.